At Denning Pharmaceuticals headquarters, former employee John takes the elevator and opens his suitcase to reveal a gun. On the executive floor, he swiftly kills several top executives and returns to the reception area, where he encounters the police. John declares somebody had to do something before taking his own life. News reports later reveal that Denning Pharmaceutical is releasing a new medicine that is receiving FDA approval despite causing fatal side effects, which have already resulted in 3 deaths. Consequently, the company is facing a significant lawsuit, and its stock prices are plummeting as they attempt to destroy evidence. A prominent lawyer named Allen decides to take on the case against the company, which will have a substantial impact on his career. He assigns his legal assistant Tom to handle the paperwork and reminds him to update his keycard on Monday morning, as they are reset every weekend. Since John, their key witness, is now gone, Tom proposes adding heart attack victims to the pharmaceutical case, but Allen forbids it, stating that minor victims don't generate money. Tom is then summoned to another boss's office to discuss the Gambizzi crime family case. Tom had sent a memo expressing his desire to join that case, but his boss destroys the memo and reprimands him for not focusing on his current cases. Tom then goes to the file room to store the file Allen rejected. His girlfriend and coworker, Anna, visits him there, and they share a few secret kisses. A few hours later, Allen announces that since the servers have been down since the previous night, everyone can go home. Before Tom leaves, Allen tells him he made a dangerous mistake with the memo and fires him. In the elevator, Tom is joined by an unfamiliar man. When they reach the reception, the man leaves a suitcase on the floor, which is picked up by another person who takes the elevator, arousing Tom's suspicion. After noting the floor the man went to, Tom tries to follow but finds his keycard has already been reset. He sees the stranger waiting outside and, feeling uneasy, asks the guard to reactivate the elevator. Upon reaching the office, Tom notices his coworker Roger at his desk and asks him to open the door. Roger behaves strangely, and Tom notices the file he had put away is now on the desk. Growing more suspicious, Tom starts recording with his phone and hides it in a pencil holder. Continuing his investigation, Tom discovers the mysterious man tampering with the power box. A lawyer approaches the man, asking for ID, skeptical of his claim to be maintenance. When the lawyer attempts to call for confirmation, the man pulls out a gun and kills her. As the killer hides the body, Tom rushes to the bathroom and finds the security guard's body in a stall. Checking on the guard triggers the toilet sensor to flush, so Tom closes the door and climbs onto the toilet to hide. The killer enters, washes blood off his face while talking to the body, and mentions needing the keys. Tom sneaks into the next stall, just before the killer takes the keys, gun, and radio from the body. Trying to stay hidden, Tom climbs onto the toilet and almost triggers the flush again, but the killer activates his toilet first and doesn't hear Tom. The killer then destroys the radio, leaves to shut off the fire sprinkler, and installs explosives in the file room. Meanwhile, Tom rushes to the break room and finds Roger, informing him about the killer. They attempt to escape via the elevator, but it isn't working, so they run down the corridor to the emergency exit. However, the killer has already broken the bar, trapping them. They return to the main area and try to use the reception computer, but the internet is down. When Tom notices the killer approaching, they hide. The killer sees the computer has been used and gets suspicious. After disconnecting it, he enters the desk area, revealing he also has a keycard. Once he's out of sight, Tom and Roger emerge from hiding and try to come up with a new plan. Tom takes Roger's keycard and opens the door to the executive offices to find Allen, sending Roger to retrieve his phone and call the police. As Tom activates the lock, his jacket gets stuck in the door. While searching for Allen, Roger reaches his desk and uses his phone to call his wife. Before he can say anything important, the killer finds him and forces him to say everything is fine. Tom witnesses this through the window and runs to the break room to find a knife. After Roger hangs up, the killer pulls out his gun and asks if anyone else is working late. Roger lies, saying it's just him. The killer then grabs a cable and starts choking Roger, all of which is recorded by Tom's phone. When Tom returns, he finds the desk empty. He grabs his phone to call 911, but the battery dies. After connecting it to a charger, he looks around the office and finds Roger's body in his chair. The killer returns and notices the jacket stuck in the door, so Tom quickly hides in a closet, where he's startled by the lawyer's body. The killer drags Roger's body while making a call, complaining that no one was supposed to be there. Tom's phone gets enough charge to start ringing. The killer answers it, dismisses Anna's call, and finds the video of the murder. He deletes it and discovers Tom's name and picture in the settings, realizing the jacket belongs to Tom. He calls out Tom's name, but Tom stays hidden under a desk. After the killer leaves, Tom runs to another office and sets some paper on fire to activate the fire alarm, but it doesn't work. He then notices someone in an office in the neighboring building and starts a larger fire in a trash can, pushing it against the curtains. This gets the neighbor's attention, and Tom gestures for help. Unfortunately, the killer smells the burning and rushes in with a fire extinguisher. Tom sees him, runs away, and pretends to use the phone so the neighbor won't call for help. Minutes later, Tom reaches the reception and uses the computer to create a new keycard. The killer almost discovers him, but Tom quickly puts the computer in sleep mode and hides under the desk. After the killer leaves, Tom resets all the locks, rendering the killer's card useless. He then turns off most of the building's lights and rushes to Alan's office, only to find him talking with a woman. At that moment, the killer shoots the office lock, so Tom hides behind the door. The killer seems familiar with Alan, but when the woman pulls out a gun, he kills her immediately, taking her gun and leaving while telling Alan to stay put. Once alone, Tom asks about the woman's identity, and Alan reveals she was part of the Gambizzi crime family, set to testify against her husband. Alan suspects the killer was sent by the mafia to silence her. They then hear a strange noise and discover the killer trying to break into the file room with an axe, but it's futile due to the reinforced steel and bulletproof glass. Afterward, Alan and Tom try to escape, but must hide when they hear the killer approaching. The killer arrives with the janitor and imitates his voice, threatening Tom to come out or face death. Suspicious, Tom asks what nickname he always used for the janitor, which the killer doesn't know, leading Tom to suspect the janitor is already dead. The killer then turns the elevators back on, trying to lure them out. Alan and Tom find the janitor's body in the corridor with a note that says, "You win." They hear a phone ringing and rush to the desk, shocked to find Tom's number calling. Alan suspects a trap and tries to escape, but the killer shoots him in the arm. They run away with the killer in pursuit, firing at them. They hide in an office and lock the door, but it's not reinforced, and the killer starts breaking it down with an axe. By the time he breaks in, they have already entered the file room. Tom attempts to use the killer's phone to call for help, but it's password protected. The killer, still in possession of Tom's phone, texts Anna to lure her over. Desperate to help her, Tom gets an idea and starts using the copy machine. At the entrance, the killer lets Anna in and holds her at gunpoint, demanding her phone to destroy it. At that moment, Tom appears and offers to exchange the keycard for Anna, but the killer is skeptical until Alan arrives to help negotiate. After the gun is dropped, Alan takes the card to the killer, who releases Anna but then draws the guard's gun. Alan pushes the killer to save Anna, but the killer punches him and drags him to the file room. There, the killer complains that Alan didn't clear the office, revealing their collaboration. The killer activates the explosives just as Tom arrives with a gun, only to find the killer has all the bullets. Alan uses the opportunity to escape, locking the killer in the file room. The killer tries to use the keycard to escape, but it doesn't work because Tom gave him a fake one made with the copy machine. Suddenly, the explosive goes off, starting a fire among the file shelves. The killer tries unsuccessfully to extinguish it and passes out from the smoke. Tom enters, discards the gun, and puts out the fire by pushing over the shelves. Suddenly, the killer wakes up and attacks Tom, leading to a fight. The killer quickly overpowers Tom, and Anna intervenes to help but is punched in the process. Tom uses the distraction to punch the killer, and after they both fall, Alan appears and shoots the killer. Before dying, the killer whispers the numbers 11 to 22, and Tom takes the keys from his pocket. While Anna uses the keys to activate the elevators, Tom returns to the desks and finds the case file, revealing that the pharmaceutical company wanted to eliminate all evidence. He then types 11 to 22 into the killer's phone, unlocking it to find Alan's phone number. It turns out Alan was paid by the pharmaceutical company to lose the case, and he hired the killer to destroy the files and kill Roger. Alan claims corporations are more dangerous than the mafia and tries to bribe Tom, but Tom refuses the money and leaves with the file. Not wanting to go to jail, Alan commits suicide. The police arrive soon after, so Tom rushes to leave with Anna before they can be seen. In the file room, the copy machine is producing thousands of copies of the case evidence. A cop, who was the one who provided the gun for the killer, finds Tom's phone in the killer's hand and immediately calls a hitman to silence Tom. If you enjoyed this video, don't be shy to hit the like button, and if you disliked it, hit the dislike button twice, just to be sure. It would be best if you watched the whole movie. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe for more videos like this.